And though I say that that was the worst decision that I could have ever made, the experience is something that I needed. Because there were parts of me that needed to grow. There were parts of me that needed to be broken. There were parts of me that needed to elevate. And had that not happened, had I not been thrown in the fire like that, I would not have been forged into the woman I am now. Had that not happened like that, I would not have the level of strength that I have now, the level of insight that I have now. I learned what not to do. If I ever try to do it again, I don't know if I will. I love the business, and I'm still in the company, and I'm rebuilding, but I'm still excluded purposely. Like this, the little petty ass shit. I'm 48 years old. I really don't care anymore. I don't. Exclude me if you want to, sweetie. I don't care. I didn't get into this business for anybody. I'm not staying in it for anybody but myself. I learned enough over the past 5 years to know what to do to build my business on my own by watching other people who are doing it successfully, who are still collecting, who are still duplicating, who aren't blaming their team and their organization when shit gets sideways. Oh, I was blamed for a whole lot, kicked out of every chat. Just, really? Was I really the problem? No, I wasn't the problem. But I definitely wasn't bucking back either. I probably contributed to it. Because I wasn't sitting back. I wasn't going to sit back anymore. Once I realized those cameras were on and I was being monitored without my knowledge and being spied on and shit, oh, all the gloves came off after that. All the gloves came off. Like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. That's what we doing tonight. Oh, and you gave somebody access to watch me. Oh, all of y'all catching it now. Everybody gonna get it every day until I feel better. And that's toxic. It was crazy. It was crazy, but I thought it was toxic for, first of all, for somebody to take my money and not give me a contract. I thought it was toxic, first of all, for somebody to go to the leaders of the organization and have a conversation about what to do about me. What? As if I was a problem because I couldn't afford to pay the rent for the cafe that didn't belong to me, that didn't even have a contract for. Why would you do that unless your intention wasn't to start this smear campaign? Because you all know that when a smear campaign happens, by the time the person who's being dragged gets to telling the truth, they're not believed anyway. That's exactly what happened. So eventually I just stopped talking. It's like, what's the point? Ain't nobody gonna believe me anyway. Well, why did you do this? And she said you did that. I was like, I guess I did it then. I guess I did. Well, why would you say that about, and why would you say that, and why would you do that? Are you really questioning me as to why I did X, Y, Z when this was the when this was the situation? Oh, because if it were me, I would have. But it's not you. One thing I definitely learned in this situation is to never take advice from people who've never done what you're doing and who's never planning on going where you're going. Don't ever take business advice from somebody who's not successful in business. Don't ever take advice from somebody on how to become a millionaire who's never seen $1 million. Don't ever take advice from anybody who's not willing to trade places with you in 2.5 seconds. And who you wouldn't trade places with. I will never forget all the advice I was given from people who never even tried it. Being dragged through the mud and dogged out, character assassination by people who have never even done what I did. Hell, at least I could say I did it. It didn't work, and If I had built it from scratch, from the ground up myself, it probably would have been successful. Or if I had been left with it being in a successful state, it would still be thriving. But I got it failing, and then it died. Right along with my pride and ego, right along with every part of me that needed to just disappear. I was on life support and needed to be taken off. And it was time to call it. And I did. There's so many times in our lives where we just don't know when to call it. And we hold on to dead situations. Or we allow certain parts of ourselves to still live when that part of us needs to die. And that people-pleasing part of me needed to die. The part of me that needed validation from friends needed to die. The part of me that were doing things to make sure that everybody else had and to see everybody else successful needed to die. Now, see, I still want to see people succeed. I still want to see all my friends win. If I win, you win, we win all together. You understand what I'm saying? I am for my team. But I will never again put business before my own personal life. I will never again ignore my own personal expenses and put it into I will never ever do that again. I will never sacrifice my livelihood for the purpose of building something. I will never do that again. I will never stay in something just to say I don't want to fail. Nope, when somebody asked what happened, it didn't work out. What happened to that cafe? It just didn't work out. Oh, really? What happened? It just didn't work out. There's not always, details aren't always needed. And during this time, I wasn't really talking about what I was going through and what my life was and none of that. You would have never known, by the way, I still was showing up on social media if I showed up at all at the time. You would have never known. I remember one of the leaders of the company, we were doing a Zoom team meetings. Was back in during the shutdown, and there were no in-person meetings at the time, no in-person anything. I came in during COVID, so I just remember this particular team call, and I will never forget. She said that she learned how powerful gratitude can be when all she had to give was gratitude. She said things were going on in her life and things were really, really, really bad at one point. And when people would ask her how she was doing, all she could say was, "I'm grateful, how are you?" And she had to keep showing up because she was a leader. And I never forgot that. And she cried as she began to tell her story. And it resonated with me 4 years ago. And I was able to live that for an entire year and a half. When people would ask me how I was doing, "I'm grateful, how are you?" Even people closest to me didn't even know until after I was out of it. And it was like, "Girl, I don't know how did you?" And even when I would say I'm grateful, but how are you grateful right now? Like, you don't want to talk about what's going on? All I had in me was gratitude, that it wasn't worse than what it was, and it was bad. But because I remembered the fact that she gave gratitude in her worst moments, gratitude got me out of my dark place. And so in all that I have had to say and share my story, I'm grateful for the worst season of my life because it brought me to the best part of me. And for that, I will forever be grateful. Because to walk out a brand new version of me, the best version of me, the higher version of me, is priceless. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 1. Please stay tuned and keep abreast as to what's going on with the Audacity Podcast. I love you guys. Till next time. Ciao.